Good morning, glad you could join us. I want to share something out of the book of Numbers today. There was this time where the Israelites had come out of Egypt and they're in the wilderness and these snakes are attacking them and people are dying. And so God instructs Moses to put this serpent up on this pole, which is still like the emblem for what the American Medical Association or whatever. So now you might be able to picture it. And here's how it goes. It says in verse 9 of chapter 21 in the book of Numbers, if a serpent bit anyone, he would look at the bronze serpent and live. All they had to do was obey what Moses told them. Look at the serpent and you'll live. Now, it seems like a pretty weird thing, almost seems like an idol or something, but the point was you obey and you look, you do what God says, and you'll be good. So, I don't know how many of you have heard of Charles Haddon Spurgeon, but he was a great Baptist preacher of the 19th century. And there was a certain day that he gave his life to Christ. And this is really cool. I'm getting it from James Montgomery Boyce. It gives the detail of what happened that day. He said he was just a boy at the time. He'd gone to a service at what's called a Primitive Methodist Chapel. And the primitive is capital, so it must have been some sort of title. I'm not really aware of it. And it says that there was a layman, not the regular minister, who was preaching. And the man had little learning and little to say. But what he did say was beneficial, and it struck closely with this text that we just read. But then he said from Isaiah chapter 45, verse 22, look unto me and be saved, all the ends of the earth. So here's what the guy preached that day. And it was life-changing in Spurgeon's life, who went on to lead thousands and thousands of people to Christ. So the way Spurgeon remembered is that the man didn't even pronounce the words properly, but that didn't matter. He launches into his text, and the message went like this. Dear friends, this is a very simple text indeed. It just says, look. Now, looking doesn't cause a great deal of pain, he said. It ain't lifting your foot or your finger. It is just look. Well, a man needn't go to college to learn to look. You may be the biggest fool, but you can look. A man needn't be worth £1,000 a year to be able to look. Anyone can look. Even a child can look. But then the text says, look unto me. Aye, he says. Many of you are looking to yourselves, but it's no use looking there. You'll never find any comfort in yourselves. Look to Christ, the text says. Look unto me. At this point, Spurgeon notices that the guy's looking right at him, fixes his eyes on him, as if he knew the struggle that was going on in Spurgeon's heart, because this is speaking to him. He has not yet decided to follow Christ. He says, young man, you look miserable, and you always will be miserable. You'll be miserable in life, you'll be miserable in death. If you don't obey my text, then lifting up his hands, it says, as only a good primitive Methodist could do, he shouted, young man, look to Jesus Christ. Look, look, look. You have nothing to do but look and live. And do you know what? That's what Spurgeon did. So how about us? What's holding us back? Sometimes we're just like, oh, I believe the message, but these preachers are fools. These preachers are idiots, or whatever it is. They're uneducated. Some people probably think that about me. We simply need to obey what God says to do. It's not that hard. And I like what he says. Anybody can look. Look to Jesus today. Maybe you'd say, preacher, I am a follower of Christ, but I got this issue going on. And that. Look to Jesus today. Look. I don't think I need to add too much to the primitive Methodist preacher's words. And God used that man that day to lead a young boy to Christ who helped rock the world. May God bless you as you look to him.